A bit of a difficult one, but Aurelion Sol has finally been created as well. What I have decided with well, viewer of mine, I suppose. Weirdly to say. So he comes in at a 1 power, 4 health at the cost of 5 mana. And just kind of like in League of Legends, he's all about controlling the board. Except in League of Legends, it's not the board, it is the rift. Anyways, so if the enemy attacks, Aurelion Soul has the ability to do two things. Either nothing at all and deal damage, or block and deal damage. So what that entails is if he isn't blocking, all attacking enemy units take 1 damage. If he does block, all the backline enemy units that aren't attacking take 1 damage instead. So you can either decide to deal damage to the attackers or the ones that aren't attacking that probably want to not take damage at all because they're, trying to protect them. And that's, well, at least not only protect them, but not put them in harm's way. So it only does 1 damage initially, but after you've seen 6 allies block, including yourself, including him, sorry, Aurelion Sol, he can block 2, and that would be 1 tally on the score to 6. It becomes 2 damage instead of 1, and he becomes a 2/5, inevitably, as all champions get about 1 normally. And honestly, that's all it is. That's all the combos need to think about. That is how simple it is. Because if you were to go into any more details on how intense he could be with like his Qs, which would be a cool thought too. I did have another thought of him just being having like a sun, creating a sun in each round. The sun would either get stronger and then stun an extra unit or something per time it's there. But it's like a token card, so that they can get rid of it, kind of like a barrel, whenever they kind of do damage to it or something, but it's not vulnerable like a barrel, I wouldn't imagine. Something like that. But that would be a whole different concept. So I thought this concept was a little bit more simple. It would be easy to get going. And then potentially, though, the strongest inclusion to him being made like this would be his spell, which he actually has the ability to stop all attacking enemies and put them to the back line. Not a stun, so if they rally, they can then try to attack again, but it does cancel their attack token effectively. To note though, if like the idea is that if you're going to send all the attackers back, you'd want to maybe make it so Aurelion Soul can deal damage to all of the units at once, but that would be a pretty hard feat because to have the combo go off where you're going to send all the attackers back to their backline, your combo in thought would be to block with Aurelion Soul and then deal damage to all the backliners. But you'd send them back. I mean, when you send them back. But the thing is that Aurelion Soul's ability, dealing damage, is the last thing created after you've selected your done and your blocking. So you would use your fast ability, and it would be created, obviously. And then when you block, Aurelion Soul's ability would be created, so that you would deal damage to the backliners, and then everyone would get sent back. So you actually wouldn't be able to combo it like that. It would have to be in the opposite the opposite way. You'd have to actually play even more reactively by hoping you could make them react and then react again to them by blocking with Aurelion Soul and obviously a bunch of others too or something like that along the lines. And then when they try to do something else instead of just going okay to start the battle, if they were to do something to save one of their units with like a twin discipline or something, they would pass uh, the initiation back over to you, and then you'd be able to thus send all units back. And if you do that, that would in terms deal 2 damage or 1 damage, depending on if Aurelion Soul's leveled up, obviously, to all the backliners, to every single unit the enemy has on the board, which again would be super hard to do. And at 7 mana, you're not always gonna have this mana to do that either. It's kind of like at 7 mana, I thought it was a good appropriate amount because it's kind of like a frost. What's it called there? Oh geez, what's it called? 7 mana freeze all units. That's frostbite all units. That's I don't remember that. Winter's breath. Yes, exactly. It's like a winter's breath, but at fast speeds, and specifically only for when they're attacking. You can't use it at any other times, right? Or on your own time, or so you can only use it on their attack. So like, Winter's Breath is amazing because if they drop another unit down, well then Winter's Breath and done. They messed up. But if they attack outright, Winter's Breath is useless, but this card is coming in right in time. But 7 mana though I believe is what it should be, especially if you're comboing with Aurelion Soul, but even if, I think any lower than 7 mana would just be outright insane. Because this is a pretty powerful effect, especially if they're attacking with all 6, and you just send it back. Especially if there's elusive. This would be a very good elusive cancel. Alright, I gotta keep making more of these. I've been slacking. Next time. Peace.